Okay, let's dive right into one of the most critical skills you need to absolutely ace your IELTS exam. We're about to tackle 10 essential words that are going to immediately upgrade your paraphrasing game and seriously boost your confidence for test day. Ready? Let's do this. We're going to start with the very word that kicked things off, vulnerable. So instead of just saying you feel weak or at risk, using a word like vulnerable shows a much deeper, more nuanced vocabulary. See, recognizing there's a gap is the first step. Filling it is how you turn that feeling into a sense of real power. Okay, our first group of words is all about describing scale and scope. Think of these as your go-to tools for talking about quantity, size, and time with real academic precision, which is, incredibly useful for both the writing and speaking parts of the test. First up, abundant. So instead of saying something kind of clunky like, there are a large amount of resources, you can paraphrase that beautifully by saying, resources are abundant. See that? It's shorter, it's more academic, and it just sounds so much more impressive. Oh, this is a great one. It shows how a single word can totally change the tone. So instead of saying a statistic is about 50%, you can elevate your language to roughly 50%. Roughly is just a perfect, more formal way of saying approximately. Next, we've got solely, which basically means only or exclusively. So if you read a sentence that says, the research focused only on urban areas, your paraphrase becomes, the research focused solely on urban areas. It's a small change, but trust me, it has a big impact. 10 years, you're going to see timeframes just like this all over the place in articles and charts. So the question is, how can we paraphrase this specific period of time using just a single, smart academic word? With this word right here, decade, this is a perfect example of powerful paraphrasing. The policy was in place for 10 years becomes the policy was in place for a decade. It's just so clean, efficient, and it really shows off your lexical range. All right, our next set of words is all about the language of ideas. These are absolutely crucial for when you're discussing arguments, theories, and complex concepts, especially in those reading and writing tasks. So how do you talk about someone who supports an idea? Well, instead of writing a supporter of the theory, you can level up to a proponent of the theory. It's the exact academic term for someone who advocates for a specific point of view. Now, taxonomy might look a little intimidating, but it's actually super useful. All it means is a system of classification. You might read about the taxonomy of animal species, or even a taxonomy of different learning styles. Just think of it as a high-level word for categorization. Sustainability is a massive topic in the IELTS, but it's about so much more than just being eco-friendly. At its core, it's about long-term viability, the ability for something to keep going over time. And that's why you can talk about economic sustainability, social sustainability, and environmental sustainability. And for our final set, we're focusing on words with real impact. These are strong, descriptive words that add force and clarity, helping you paint a much more vivid picture for the examiner. So instead of saying the scattered pieces of the broken building, you can use one powerful word, debris. It means the wreckage that's left after something has been destroyed. Like rescuers search through the debris for survivors. You can just feel how much more impactful that is, right? And finally, we have a word that brings us right back to where we started, conquer. It means to overcome a huge challenge. You can talk about conquering a fear or a disease or a really difficult task. And of course, it's exactly what you were getting ready to do with the IELTS exam. So let's just pause for a second and appreciate the toolkit that you've just built. I mean, in just a few minutes, you've picked up a whole set of lexical landmarks that are going to guide you right through the IELTS. Just look at them. Proponent, solely, decade, abundant, roughly, conquer, vulnerable, taxonomy, debris, sustainability. 10 powerful tools. Don't just think of these as words to memorize. See them as keys that are going to unlock a higher score for you. Remember that feeling we talked about at the very beginning? By actively building your vocabulary like we just did, you trade that feeling of being vulnerable for a feeling of being prepared. You have the tools. You have the knowledge. You are ready. So, I'll leave you with this question. Take one last look at our list. Which one of these lexical landmarks are you going to intentionally use in your practice today? Because that journey to conquering the IELTS, it starts with a single, well-chosen word. Good luck.